Welcome back, everyone, to the WRMN Morning Show. We are in a full studio formation right now.
Not a T formation.
Not a T formation. This is what we call the, I don't know, we can call it the Iceman formation here. We all have to go like in the air. There you go. There you go. And we are your hosts, Susie C.
Good morning.
I'm the L Train, Elliot Serrano. We have, of course, good friend of the show, Jimmy Vasselli of Vasselli Law.
Good morning, First Shifters.
And we are joined by candidate for Illinois State Comptroller, Holly Kim.
Yo.
Welcome, Ms. Kim. I'm trying to be, wait, but you're the, county treasurer
up in Lake County, Illinois.
So does that come like with a like an honorific that comes, you know?
I mean, it does. Just call me Holly. It's
yeah,
fine.
But I'm just curious what the honorific is.
They just go the honorary.
Yeah,
what is it? No, the Honorable Holly Kim, Lake County Treasurer. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. But we appreciate you coming in this morning. We saw you on the Apolitical Talk Show a little while back, and I was there going, oh, look at that. And I'm like, well, now if Holly Kim's going to come on our show, I need to kind of figure out new questions because Sonar asked you all like the political stuff.
Yeah, he had a really high like political questions, like is a hot dog a sandwich? Like that was
look,
high controversy.
That's him stirring the
controversy.
pot. That's him stirring the pot. But I want, in the interest of full disclosure, I am friends with Maggie O'Keefe.
All right.
Who's handling your campaign, right? And
she gives you a shout out. She's safe at home.
Yeah,
I almost died like 12 times on the way here.
Goodness, I would
crazy.
I would hate to be responsible for that. And I am also one of your TikTok fans.
Yo.
So when Jimmy Vasselli said, "Hey, do you guys want to have Holly Kim on?" I was like, yeah, because I follow her on TikTok. I follow all these different campaigns on TikTok, and yours really is one of the more creative ones when it comes to using that platform to reach people. One of the things that kind of gets me, and I've talked about this on the show before, Jimmy knows how I feel about it, because people have this attitude about politicians and government, and they're all crooked, and they all just want to do this. They're all in it for the money and do it for themselves. And I'm like, and I know people feel that way about like up top, like on the national level, but as you filter down, when you get down more to the local level, people don't feel that way because I think they really know you better.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge that most candidates out there is letting people get to know them, so we really know who you are. And I know you have a really interesting story. You have a lot of stuff in your background. I'd love for you to share with the WRMN radio morning show listeners, like about yourself, your story growing up, your family. What made you get to this point?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thanks for that nice little lob at me here. And hi to all the audience out there who's slipping and sliding while you're let's story tell. Yeah. Back to the lore of
Slow
Holly
down and
Kim.
listen.
Yeah. So while you're slipping and sliding, so I'm Holly Kim, and I currently have the honor of serving 2 terms as county treasurer up in Lake County, Illinois. That is the 3rd largest county. I currently manage billions of dollars that go through my office, and every check is signed with my name, which means I'm the only one running out of 4 in this primary who's already doing the controller job. In fact, the current controller has been my work mentor the last 7 years, so I'm very honored to have that relationship. All right, so the lore. So growing up, my parents actually, they had a business in Koreatown on Lawrence back in the heyday of like the Koreatown of Chicago. And my dad had a copier typewriter repair shop. And what's interesting is his relationship with the community was, there's all of these Korean businesses out there, restaurants, dry cleaners, video stores. And they needed someone who speaks their language to sell them copiers, cash registers, all the stuff they need to do business, right? And that was my dad in Kim's Business Systems. And so he was not only chamber president, but he also was JC's president. I grew up really, really civic. Every parade, it's not much different than the life I'm living right now. So when you talk about my interesting background of hardship, so I had a kid in college, and that's always hard to tell your parents. I will tell you, it's probably even harder when you have like Korean parents. My dad was so mad. I got kicked out. I had to sign up for WIC, Medicaid, the Head Start. I did one of those, shift to work full time, go to school part time, juggling a kid. And it took me 8.5 years to get my degree while, just juggling everything. But I firmly believed, even if I took only 1 class a semester on a Saturday, that degree was going to help me to earn more, so I just kept on chugging. Right around that time, because when it rains, it pours. I had a relative who stole my credit as well and absolutely like trashed it. Yeah,
Wow.
trashed it to the ground. So you're already having a hard time, and then you come up against things like this. That was back in the day when they rejected you, you could get a copy of your credit report. Now you
Hmm.
can get it, all the time. But
Hmm.
back then you had to be rejected to. So when I saw it and I saw these charges that weren't mine, and it was interesting because when I said to the bank, like, these aren't my charges, that's not my car, but that's so and so's car, right? One of my relatives. And they're like, well, it's a federal offense. So if you want, you could sue them and then send the federal government after that. And I was like, I'm in college. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to my relative, right? But what that meant was like suffering through the bad credit. And here we are, like 23 years later. My credit, stellar. I'm in charge of billions of dollars, but I will tell you that there will be no fiercer protector of you, your family, and your
Yeah.
money than literally somebody who's had to scrap through every single ounce of that. And my office actually does like 100 financial literacy seminars. We kick it off, with this phrase where I go, growing up, we were told it was rude to talk about money.
Uh-huh.
And I go, but who talks about money all the time? I go, rich people. And I go, so we're going to talk about money, And so
Mm.
I've been hell bent on changing government at every level in like tangible ways, because I think we're at a point now where it doesn't matter what side of the aisle. They're like, what are you actually going to do? Like, well, how's it going to benefit my life, right? And so I have a history of being in different governments, village, township, now at the county level, where like I've delivered things tangibly that people can see, feel, and it's affected their lives. So very
Nice.
proud of that. Different kind of a candidate.
As you should be.
Yeah.
That is very different. I like that.
I mean, well, I have to be careful what I say next because I will admit I have very strong political leanings and feelings and
You?
stuff. Yeah, really. But let's be honest right now. There's a lot of stuff going on the national level that's affecting us on the state level.
Mhm.
We already have like how many billions of dollars in funds for programs to the state of Illinois have been stopped up top
Mhm.
because of the different political differences. How would you address something like that as a state comptroller? Because I mean, if Washington decides to hold off on sending $1 billion for schools or anything else that's going on, that's going to affect how you do the job, isn't it?
Yeah, so a couple thoughts on that. So, for those who don't know, the controller's office controls the spigot of the water coming out for the state of Illinois. So, as county treasurer, I handle the money coming in, the investing, and the money going out. But at the state, it's so big, you have one person for the money coming in and investing. That's the state treasurer, Michael Ferrix. And the money going out is a separate person, Susanna Mendoza. And that's the seat I'm running for, the controller position. So, the power is in the spigot. And I will tell you, as somebody who was on the system, right, when I had kids in college and I was using the all kids program to take my kids to their pediatricians, it was hard to find providers that would take this medical card. But once I graduated, I actually was offered a position as an office manager in an office that took Medicaid. And so I got to firsthand see when I was doing the billing how, like, at some point the appropriations bucket ran out and we weren't receiving reimbursement. We kept providing service, like we were seeing kids and adults, but we weren't being reimbursed. And I asked the doctor, I go, hey, how come we're not getting paid? And he goes, oh, that seems to happen at some point. Like, either they run out of money, and he's like, maybe you could call them, but it's like every year. And I firsthand got to see how he was okay, like fronting the cash flow in his office. But there were other offices that straight up stopped taking, the Medicaid
Mm.
program. And there was even pediatric dentists who stopped taking it. So you had to go 40 miles up to Waukegan to get to the next pediatric dentist. And so
Mm.
I got to see on the back end how, like, the cash flow interruption really discourages providers, right? So that currently, as a lens with all the hardship coming up, where that comes into play is understanding that dynamic as somebody at the top running this office. You have the ability to make sure that you reimburse timely on the Illinois state side until the federal side gets its act together. And I think that's where it's going to be important for all these providers, because you can bet through all hardship times, they're going to keep providing service going, okay, but when are we going to be paid, right? And during hard times, that's when people lean on government and government support the most.
We're talking to Holly Kim, candidate for Illinois State Comptroller, and a bit of a TikTok star, if you ask me. Hold on, let me pull this one up here because I was just having fun. That's how I got to I got to know you first via the TikTok, and then you showed up on Apolitical Talk Show. I was like, I wanted her on our show.
Although on Apolitical, I think I like threatened that I'd be here every week, so I'm making good on that promise.
Oh,
Perfect.
That was
You can
last
come
You're
back.
week.
welcome
You-
anytime.
Anytime you want. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this one to play.
Why are you so sad?
That's not good. We're not going to have snow this coming Christmas.
I know what will make you feel better.
What?
Just say her name and she'll appear. Holly Kim for controller.
Say her name and she'll appear. Holly Kim for controller. Nice.
For folks who don't get that, that is a pro wrestling reference.
I believe in
And
Joe Hendry.
That's a Joe Hendry reference. And if you are going to throw a Joe Hendry reference into your TikTok as you're campaigning, I'm there. I'm totally there for that.
He is geeking out
He is
right now.
algorithmed right there.
Yep, there it is. There it is. Where did the idea for that come from?
So I live on the internet and we follow trends, and Joe Hendry, is making a comeback because this is actually kind of an old template that
Yep.
was coming
Yep.
back.
Yep.
But it was funny because someone was like, "Hey, you should do one of these for the controller race," and I was like, "I'm on it."
Nice.
Yeah, because look, I'm in Buffalo Plaid. Those who can't see, I'm a pretty casual, elected official, but I'm also a regular human being. And I think too far, for too long, the elected officials don't use social media right.
Right.
It's got to be social first,
Right.
right? So yeah.
I mean, you have some candidates out there. I mean, the one that first comes to mind is AOC, who has a tremendous following on social media, but she is very, I would say she's very genuine in her interactions, and she's smart as a whip. And I know she gets a lot of criticism from some folks about maybe she's a little too idealistic or she's too, progressive and blah, blah, blah. But again, she connects with people on her socials. What are some of those challenges? Like, what do you feel it is that is like that secret sauce to really connecting with folks on social media?
Well, yeah, like I just said, social media is social first. And I think a lot of times, not only elected officials, but campaigns or, even the direction of people who want to run for office. And I'm like, please stop just making it boring. And nobody wants a whole meal either in terms of information. Everyone wants a snack. But in between the snacks, you got to put some fun stuff because it's like, why are they following you anyway? Things are bad enough out there. And you go to your phone to relax. You don't want to be more unsettled. Put some fun stuff out there.
It's kind of why we don't do news or politics on the morning show. We don't report. We do a little news, but we don't go into big because first of all,
So
Elliot
they
will
don't do
crash
politics,
out.
and then Holly just
Yeah, but
infiltrates.
you're
No,
fun.
you're fun.
You're
No,
fun.
you're fun.
No, you're fun. No, you are definitely fun. You are not the norm. You break the mold of what people think a politician is like. Just like Jimmy breaks the mold to me of what a lawyer, an attorney looks like. They're always stoic, and no, you guys are a blast. But we don't when we kind of keep away from that in the morning. The heavy stuff.
Yeah.
That's why you guys fit perfectly because you're the heavy stuff without the heavy.
There's a time and place.
Yes.
And, I think I always say, and it's not contradicting what Holly said, but let's make government boring again. Let's not have the drama and everything like that. But I do think there's some of it that needs to be there. There is these are serious things that we do. But people need to be communicated with at their level. And to not do that is honestly a disrespect to them. If people are going to be on social media, let's talk to them through social media. And that's just knowing your audience. This is first grade English class. You're right to your audience. So,
Right. When
and
they
I think
say
Holly does a really good job at that.
you got to be where the people are.
Yeah.
That's where the people are.
And I think too, it's the sincerity. I guess to me, that's always my thing. I've told Jimmy this. If I'm talking to a candidate and they come across as sincere, that's really the most. Instead of just telling me what I want to hear or what they think I want to hear. You have a background in tech, correct?
I do. So I actually was paid to be a disruptor, which means you stop things that don't work and you implement new things that do.
Okay, see, because every time I hear the word disruptor, I think of the Romulan ray gun. That's from Star Trek.
Yep.
And Jimmy knows where I'm coming
Absolutely.
from. So
I could be that too, right? Symbolically.
I'm sorry. Go on ahead.
Oh no, I just got on a tangent like in my brain because like one of my friends is super into Star Trek and like made this Romulan ale for Halloween, and that was like the
Ah.
unspeakable night we could not like talk about it. Like
Was it
so
blue? Was it
it
blue
was
like that?
blue,
There you go.
yes.
There we
He
go.
literally claims that that's how he knew that me and my husband would get married because I was so drunk and like on the couch and passed out, and that my boyfriend at that time like drove over to take care of me on his couch. And he's like, the Romulan ale is what did it, as a test
Aw.
of, yeah. So it's like,
She's a disruptor and brought together with her significant other by Romulan ale. If that's not a Star Trek
you
moment,
getting
I don't know what
verklempt?
is. I'm getting.
Getting verklempt.
I'm like Data right now when he found Spot at the end of Star Trek:
my
Next Generation. Oh my god!
Data just wanted to feel.
He
so
just wanted. He
badly.
was like
just wanted to
Pinocchio.
feel.
But still, yeah, you again. But you've worked in tech.
Oh, right,
I'm
let's go
curious
back to
about
that.
like I mean no, but to that because I think that all fits in with not only the social media aspect, but I keep hearing all about this. Oh well, these business people. We need to have business people in charge of government. I mean, you've had businesses, tech businesses, right?
So I didn't have them. I worked at them. But then the interesting thing when you come from the .coms is you wear every hat.
Yeah.
Right. But initially, back in the day of the .com heyday, what was it, like 2000, right before Y2K? And it was like you could work from anywhere at all hours. But then you ended up working all hours because you just couldn't turn it off. Right. But that was like the beginnings of working from home. So as a village trustee, with that tech mindset, when they did like license plate readers, I was I'm very big on like public, like government transparency, but then personal privacy. I'm a huge personal privacy advocate, especially as more and more gets on the internet. Like I'm very protective of people and their privacy data. So back then, that was like what 13 years ago. I was a village trustee. I asked for all the ACLU rules regarding license plate readers. Like if they did nothing wrong, like you got to release that data, and you can't share it with the national database, and we got to pay for a license, and all these things. And it's really come into play now, 13 years later, right? When the federal government is trying to get everyone's data, and there's data centers popping up everywhere to house data. So it's really interesting because, so let's talk tech for a little bit. As county treasurer, I digitized work so that staff could actually work from home 2 days a week. And when I first got there, oh my gosh, it was so old. All the manila folders, bins and bins and bins of mail that everyone had to process by hand. But now it's like Google Office. They can work from home. We have like files come from the bank in importable ways, whereas when I first started, people had to hand enter all the payments from the bank. It was wild, absolutely wild. And here's the thing: I didn't start in the 1990s. I started in 2018. So all this data should have been available through FTP like a long time ago, right? In more secure ways. So I like to say that there's nothing wrong with wanting to do the job. And at the controller's office, I'm definitely going to go in and do that same process mapping for efficiency, right? There's some stuff that used to take 6 months that we do in 48 hours now at the treasurer's office. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to beef up cybersecurity because right now, I'd say the number one incident we have with the checks that go out of our office as treasurer is people will intercept the physical checks, acid wash off the to line, and write it out to someone else. And we have to catch that with software and approve each one individually. Now imagine the level over at the state of Illinois, like how many checks go out, right? We really need to make a push towards more secure things like wire transfers or ACH with, the villages. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the job, the work.
The last thing about tech is there. You talk about security, but now there's a lot about doxing going on. Private information. I just got another freaking notice from one of my credit card companies that my social security number and a whole bunch of information that I had has been compromised. I need to do the thing where there's monitoring my credit. So these checks, like I know half the time people get their information is out there because someone at somebody's office left your info sitting on a desk. Someone else got a hold of it. Or people are discovering you online. They're angry about something, and then they put your personal information out there. I mean, do you have what's your perspective on that sort of thing, especially when it comes to campaigns and politics?
Yeah, so just so people know and have a perspective, at the Illinois State Controller's Office, it has over 100,000 like pensioners data from the state of Illinois, 60,000 plus like staff who work at the state or have worked at the state, and then every single time you and me have ever filed our Illinois state taxes, and that's all over at the Controller's Office because those refund checks, right? That's where they come from. And so you really need to make sure someone who values privacy and protecting all of us is going to be in that office. As far as like doxing, and it's just unruly how all of this data, like if you Google, right? If you Google hard enough, you can find people's addresses. And so there has to be people in office who think about privacy protection. And who runs on platforms of that? Who says that out loud? Honestly, I'm probably the only one who says it out loud, right? I mean, there's also this other philosophy I've seen from other people who run for other offices I've heard where they're like, well, all your data that you get scraped off metadata, you should be paid for that. Like I've heard that out there, right? And they're not wrong. Like advertisers pay for data all the time, right? I mean, they're scraping your data for free and then selling it for money to advertisers, right? But people need to run on platforms like of protecting our residents.
Well, there's a sale of TikTok that's supposed to be finalized today. I think that's going to really change how our data is used. What do you think about campaigns now using social media where that kind of data is out there being put up for sale?
So yeah, that's a really heavy question for like a Friday morning sliding in snow. But yeah, I love it. I love it because honestly, like, why aren't we having this conversation, right? Why aren't we having more conversations like this? There's a lot of distractions out there, but this is a real one that will affect all of us. What's interesting in watching like years worth of those trials and basically TikTok versus any other social media is, I think it was like the TikTok CEO was like, you are asking me to jump through all these hoops. I'm paraphrasing. But you didn't ask this of any of the other social media.
Right.
I think a long time ago, they asked that their databases be on like US soil, not in China or something like that, or wherever they're from. Where is he from? Singaporean? Anyway, but it's in the US, the databases. So they did that. So that wasn't enough. And now they're making them sell. But yeah, he says, all the things you're asking me of this data, you didn't ask of any other social media company. And I think that's valid. I think we should be asking that of every single social media, right? Like company.
Well, that's a lot. Those are heavy questions and more things for
I'm ready
discussion.
for it. Let's go.
Excellent.
She is. She's on it.
We are with Holly Kim, candidate for Illinois State Comptroller. Can you hang out for a little longer?
Yeah. I mean,
All right. Oh, let's see. Then I can keep showing off this nice little graphic that we've got for you right there.
I like it.
All right. This is the WRMN Morning Show with your host, Susie C. Me.
Good morning.
Jimmy Vasselli.
Good morning.
Vasselli Law and Holly Kim. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, if you have any questions, you can always call us at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410, or text us at 505-926-1410, 505-926-1410. We're talking to Holly Kim here on the WRMN Morning Show. And we are back. This is the WRMN Morning Show with special guest Holly Kim, who is joining us to talk about her campaign for comptroller. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my whole little setup there. There we go.
There we are.
There we are. Talking about her campaign for Illinois State Comptroller. We've heard her personal story. I'm telling you, that's the one reason I would never want to be a millionaire, because I'd have somebody going in and stealing my personal info and then like stealing all my money and then wrecking my credit. I mean, not that you were a millionaire, but I'm saying everyone has experienced, what it's like when people come after you and try to,
Oh yeah, all my stuff is on the dark web. I've gotten
dark
alerts
web?
on my social, all my stuff. I got alerts 2 years ago, but I also have an app that I can check my credit and
have how many
they check
credit?
everything.
Yeah, it's wild how,
But yeah.
like you said, they loosed all your info out there and they're like, we'll give you 1 year of free credit monitoring through our company's credit monitoring
Yeah, no,
service.
the one I have is free, and I check it all the time.
I have 3 different businesses doing that for me right now. So what are you going to do? But we have been talking about again, your story. We've been talking about what it's like being a politician in today's social media age, how you connect with voters, and your business, your experience in tech. I'm just curious. Okay, and I hate to bring this back to Star Trek again because it is.
No, you don't.
You
No,
don't-
you
you
don't.
don't at all.
No, you don't at all.
Would you go on a transporter if you could be? If they had the Star Trek transporter would take you from here, like from the planet up to the Enterprise? Would you do that? I have my own personal opinion on that.
So I feel like we really need that tested before I trust that my organs will be arranged correctly where I land. If self-driving cars are not at 100% yet right now, I don't know. A single particle off is gonna have, like it'll be like I end up on the other side, but I'll be like having Swiss cheese, like internal organs.
The only reason I bring that because there are two theories as to what that's like. The one theory being that when you get transported, it's not really you; it's a copy of you that's transported that turns up on the other side on that teleporter pad. So the original you has died, and it's a copy of you that's up there that doesn't realize that the original you has died.
So what would you choose then?
Oh, I wouldn't do it.
Okay,
No, I want the
okay,
original
okay.
me everywhere.
All right.
Or OG me. That's
Oh,
me.
gee.
Although can't they just upload your brain at at this point of technology?
Yeah.
When that happens,
They
when
just use a
test-
3D printer.
The neural network. Again, we're back to. I'm not, all right, so let's get back to the business of
Vote for Holly
running.
Kim for Illinois controller.
Yeah. With all the technology too, what is it like now managing a race now in today's technology age with social media? Not just social media, but all the other tech that's involved. What's that like?
So, you know what's funny about that is like I actually come from a background of like managing social media for like nonprofits. So when I first like started running for office and I had to do all this social media and like scheduling out what posts when, I was like, oh, who would have thought that waxing the floor was going to teach you karate? Like, that's where I'm at, in
Yeah.
life. So it's like I've come built in with the ability to do social media, but also
Oh, she's referencing the Karate Kid. How can you not want to vote for her?
Yeah, cleaning windows and waxing floors, and here I am.
Wax on, wax off. Wax on,
So
wax on, yeah.
going back to like stopping things that don't work and implementing new things that do, that kind of disruption. It's not only for like hard like tech like software, because some of it is me asking. So as county treasurer, when I first started, I had every investment firm come in, and I had a little come to Jesus talk with them, and I was like, look. I know that maybe in the past, like it's about golf and whatnot, but for you, I just want you to know, like I'm from a generation that hops in a car with a stranger to get a ride, right? I'm like taking Uber, things like that. And I go, so I am results oriented. So I'm telling you going forward, our relationship with the treasurer's office and you is entirely results oriented. And I'm going to stack you all like Survivor Island and the two lowest producing. I'm going to take your millions and give them to the other investment firms. And their faces were like, I have never been spoken to in such a manner in my entire life. But
You're so relatable.
But like, isn't that literally what they should, right? This is an investment firm. All you do is invest. So show me the money. So at the end of the year, we did make good on that promise. We did cut some of the investment firms, and the output of interest from when I first got there to now is 200% or more. And so it really comes down. I firmly believe, because I'm a voter too. It's like, I'm tired of polished bullet points and limousine, like, politician. I'm like, what are you actually going to do that will help me as like a real human being, right? And there's this one checking account, because I'm the county treasurer, so I collect the property taxes. I don't set the numbers, but I collect it. And there's a checking account we have that's interest bearing. So all the taxes that flow through it did like 1 point something percent. And I said to the bank, I go, hey, could you raise that interest? Because everything's a social construct, right? And they're like, no, that's the customary checking account. I'm like, that's cool. I'll just go to a different bank that has offered more. And they're like, hold on. They're like locking the door. Let's talk about this. Let's not be crazy. They're like, let's talk to the manager. And they raised it to 4%. So I got,
Wow.
Ooh, that's big.
So just on pass through money, I like, that's it. Just asking that question, I got $3.2 million, which I didn't keep. I gave it back to the schools, the parks, the libraries. There's a school out there who got an extra $140,000 they never asked for. And like, this is the outside the box, like thinking I come with. And honestly, I think it's time in government that we have people who think differently.
I get that. Looking on the text line on the YouTube, Downtown Jose says, well, with all the Star Trek references, you are wearing a red shirt.
I know.
I'm like,
I know.
And he says
Uh,
also like the red shirt.
He likes
female
the red
guest,
shirts, but you're
great
wearing
colors.
Yeah, you're wearing a red shirt.
Yeah,
which
but
in Star
it's,
Trek
it's
colors,
not black on top and red on
Yeah,
the bottom,
yeah.
though. It's kind of like checkered pattern.
Gotta
so.
watch that. Hopefully, don't go on any away missions. Would be my advice at
So
this
cute.
point. Before we go, any last things? Like I know your TikTok is vote for Holly Kim at vote for Holly Kim. Any other places where we can keep up with you?
Yeah,
and
so
your
every
messaging?
single social media that exists out there, it's @tag vote for Holly Kim. It's pretty consistent. I'd encourage you all to follow me. Put your toe in the water. Get you a gal who can do both. I can do the math side and I could do the social justice side. So I'll be there with the people. I'm always going to side with the people.
All right, and that is Holly Kim, candidate for Illinois State Comptroller. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And-
Who's going to have me next week? I
shoot.
threatened that I'd be here every
You
week.
come
So give me a call.
in. You
Whoever
come
it
in.
is.
Come
Whoever
in
that text.
anytime.
Come in for the days when I'm putting weird stuff in my mouth when I'm trying different.
Oh
foods.
yeah, Thursdays at 8:00.
Thursdays
We
at
put
8.
weird things in Elliot's mouth.
If you
That
want to come
sounds like
in.
a monetized opportunity over there.
Well, if you can help us monetize it,
Yes,
we'd be
please
all over
do.
that. We'd be all over
Because
that.
I buy it all.
I know. She
I'm
does.
intrigued.
I do.
I'm intrigued by that teaser.
You have an open invitation.
Yes.
Both you and Jimmy have an
Thank
open
you.
invitation.
And you can both if you're here, you are required, not by law, because I'm not an attorney, but you are required to put said things in your mouth as well.
Me too.
We did Vegemite
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh,
Have you ever
Last
tried
week,
Vegemite?
last week we did
I've
Vegemite.
heard
Last week
so
we did
much
Vegemite.
about that. Is there a jar still left?
No,
here
it
that I can taste?
left.
Okay.
It
No, we
sorry.
gave it to Katrina. And you know what? I will tell you, for some reason, I thought it was a delicious sweet treat.
No.
It looks
yeast.
like it's
was
it's
yeasty.
gross. It looks
Had
like
a lot
black
of
tar
yeast.
heroin. It stinks.
I have no idea.
Somehow
what-
she knows what that looks
Well,
like.
thank you. I'm like,
As your lawyer.
as my attorney. No, it was awful. It looked like tar, and I tasted it in back, and I had to come out here and keep a smile on my face, try not to gag, and be like, "All right, you guys, you're gonna try this." And oh my god, it was so.
Let's
awful.
go. I'm ready for that. In fact, we can monetize it and be like, if you all chip in or Patreon or whatever you do to get the money, X amount of dollars, we'll have Holly Kim in here eating weird foods with him.
There we go.
right, there
Let's
we
go.
go.
You heard it here first.
All right, folks. When we come back, we'll be closing out the WRMN Morning Show and handing it over to the local. Handing it over to Fridays with the Finest.
Fridays with the Finest. Chief Lally will be here
Will be here. Thank you so much, Holly, for coming in. We really appreciate it. And you have an open door. Come on in
anytime.
anytime. Yeah, yeah. And Jimmy too. Jimmy knows that though.
Thank you.
He always acts like, "Can I come in today?" I go, "Dude, you sponsor the show, of course."
Just show up.
All right, folks.
Make faces at the window.
I've done it.
You have.
All right, we'll be back, folks.